Thank you very much, Sue, and thank you, Laura and Girish, for the initial opening of this session. I would like to start, first of all, thanking the Global Compact for partnering with us in this very challenging platform. We have a big challenge ahead, which is, trying to understand what SDG reporting could look like. I was asked to give you a snapshot about what SDG reporting is at now. And at GRI, we've been really overwhelmed by the uptake of SDGs by many companies all over the world. Already, since the negotiations on the SDGs were happening, and that was between 2013 to 2015, before the adoption, many companies came to us asking, what's coming up? So there was already a sense that something big was changing in the sustainability context. And those of you that are familiar with the reporting practice will know that indeed sustainability context is one of the principles that companies should take in consideration while developing their own reporting. So at the moment, we experienced that there was a lot of different understanding of the different companies about what the SDGs mean for them. And what was addressed in the past as the greenwashing started to become the SDG washing, which is a new term that I try to avoid to use because I didn't want this to be picked up. But many are talking about that now. So we are facing this challenge. So what does it mean, reporting on the SDGs? This is a question that we've been asked, and we've been looking, of course, at our own standards, but together with the Global Compact and the World Business Council on Sustainable Development, already in 2015, we launched the SDG Compass. We got already the feeling that companies would have started reporting on the SDGs, right? So we developed this publication that helps companies to understand the SDGs, to set their own goals, to integrate this into the operations, to report, and to close the cycle to go to the next year, to the next reporting cycle, sorry. This has been, widely accepted from, wide range of companies that started using this tool. It has been translated into 10 different languages without us really campaigning for those translations. So it's been, amazing. But what we did in the SDG Compass was a mapping of the SDGs and targets against the available business indicators. On sdgcompass.org, you can get access to this database of indicators, which is already available and free. It's a free public good. Everybody can use it. But we understood there, especially in a dialogue with the companies and with the governments, that those indicators were not really tracking the contribution to that specific target or goal. So there was yet another need out there. How can we really make meaningful reporting against the SDGs? And there is still not one agreed methodology for this kind of reporting. The last challenge that we experience is indeed, the different perspectives by the different stakeholders. Investment community has really been stepping up efforts on sustainable development. They are really looking at how their investment decisions have an impact on sustainable development. Civil society is very vocal about different elements of corporate sustainability. So how can we make those all together? And you will understand, coming from GRI, a multi-stakeholder organization, this is really much in our DNA. And it's as well in the DNA of the SDGs, because they were negotiated by the governments, but it was for the first time a very comprehensive multi-stakeholder dialogue. So those are the three challenges that we have on the SDGs. But where should SDG reporting be heading? We think that, first of all, should be more straightforward. We need to have relevant indicators that really show the contribution to the SDGs and targets as they represent, as we heard this morning as well, common language, shared purpose. They are the KPIs of the world. Somebody calls them that way. Secondly, it should be easier to understand. So we believe that we need to provide more guidance for businesses to report on the SDGs. Third, it should be simpler to execute. 17 targets, 17 goals, 169 targets is quite a lot. How can we make it simpler? And indeed, in that sense, and you will hear more from Bernard, we are looking at alignment between the GRI standards and the UNGC communication on progress. And third, it's all about data. You will, of course, I'm pretty sure that you understand that what companies report at the moment is mostly in their reports. Most of the time it's in the PDF. How can we dig those data? How can we use those data to understand what is the progress that we're making towards the SDGs and take corrective actions? So I basically put the problems on the table. So my presentation stops here. You will hear from Bernard about the action platform and possibly some of the solutions, right?
Yes, thank you very much.